Once upon a time, on the 31st of March 2020, on a battlefield far, far away, tundra to be historically accurate, the game was destined to fail. But on that map, two YouTubers met, and their futures intertwined. And this is how it went. Hello, I'm RetroJules. So after that fateful game on Tundra, Cosmic Carry sent me a message. Do you want to platoon up? And I said no, not really. And he kept sending me messages after message after message, begging me to play with him, and eventually I said yes. It's quite possible that I made all of that up. And I said yes straight away, actually. But he didn't have a microphone, so we are the silent platoon. And we were communicating using the in-game communication wheel and sending each other messages. And the first message he sent me, and this was the first game, was let's head for the lighthouse. Now, between you and me, I don't think that's a good idea. On this map, I'm always generally in a light tank, and we're both in light tanks, and I think, do you go for the lighthouse? If you get the lighthouse, you can dominate the game. And I'm in my little Vanguard, and I've got good gun depression, so it's a good place to be, and a relatively safe place to be. But you've got to get there. You've got to get there undetected, and you've got to get there and not meet the other light tanks on the other team who are trying to do the same thing, and it ends up being in a very short game. So that's in the back of my mind, but I didn't tell Cosmic Carry that, and there he is in front of me. I just went with it, because if it works, it works. Up we go, and yep, the enemy are doing exactly the same thing. It's an encounter battle, and if the light tanks can dominate the lighthouse, even in an encounter battle, it can really help. And there goes a third of my health. Come on, pop up. There ya. And oh no, that's not looking good. And they're going in for carry. I'm on a reload. I can't help. And yeah, he's legging it. Yep, fair enough. Proof of the pudding. It's not always worth going up there. It's a little bit risky. I'm so glad I landed on my tracks. And I hit a rock, and Cosmic Carry dies. I was kind of relieved in a way, because Cosmic Carry is a good tanker. I am not. And when you platoon up with me, it's sort of the equivalent of wearing concrete boots. You've got to drag me around, and I'm not always as helpful as you might think. But he died first, and I thought, right, what do I do? You see, when you've got two light tanks on that lighthouse, they're just a real pain in the backside, because you're constantly aware of them. And I thought, well, I didn't really know what to think at this stage. I thought I just need to keep an eye on that lighthouse, but I'm going to try and skirt round and just maybe get some shots. I know there's that heavy at C6. I'm a little bit close to all the tanks and realise that actually I am not going to be able to stay out of view range of them. So just dip down here for a little bit of safety, and hopefully those light tanks will pop their little heads up. Snatch and auto aim didn't work. Yeah, LT432, do you know what? That has got, good shot, that has got quite a good little bit of armour. I now own an LT432. Looks very much like the T100. It's like a poor man's T100. And it does have reliable turret armour. Well, that was the warm-up game. And this was game number 2. And originally I was going to roll out my Walker Bulldog. I thought, Do you know what? Carrie might get a bit peeved if I keep rolling out the Vanguard, so I selected the Walker Bulldog in the garage. And what does Carrie turn out? He turns out his Vanguard, and it was like, no, I'm not having that. And I went straight back and chose my Vanguard. And this is kind of how it carried on for the rest of the session that we had. It was the Vanguards, because they are such a giggle. So Carrie is a very instinctive player. He knows damn well that I'm going to play the ridge line, so he goes off to the west to park up in a bush, quite possibly, and spot the enemy from there. But a light tank from the enemy team is also there, and this is pretty much all I do on the magic map that is Prokhorovka. And we'd already messaged each other to say, Prokhorovka in Vanguards, what more could you want? This is probably, I think, the ultimate light tank map. Love this map. Not such a nice map if you're playing really slow heavy. When I've played my Polish 60 TP on this, oh, if RT choose to pick on you, it's pretty much game over. And this is probably the reason, just lately, why I am favouring light tanks. Going back to my light tank passion, because it doesn't matter what map I get, I can manoeuvre, I can traverse the map, I can just, hopefully, get out of trouble, stay out of trouble. We are just both trying to keep the enemy lit up. Our team have really congregated right in the middle of the map on the train track. Of course, the thing is, when you're working the ridgeline, you've really got to make sure that you don't bump into your own players, because if you do and stop dead, chances are a couple of shots and it's game over. Now, I'm not one for giving hints and tips, because I'm not the sort of player that should be doing that, but one thing I do on this map in a fast light tank is when the game starts and I'm making my way to this ridge line, I always climb up onto one of the ridges that lead to it, and I find that way you're not losing speed as you travel uphill to it. To spot the enemy, you're already on top, and I find that's really good for keeping momentum and then just staying on that ridge line and just keeping it going and not standing still for a minute. We are 4 tanks down. Our team do not seem to be that effective. Now, this game, shoulda, coulda, woulda. Even with the powers of Carrie, we both cocked up. I cocked up first, and it may be my fault that when I cocked up, it just had that string of effects that caused the game to collapse and put too much pressure on Carrie at the end, and he folded under pressure. So spoiler, we lose this game, but do you know what we shouldn't have done? And it could have been one of those games that I've always wanted to show on the channel, one of those really epic victories, one of those clutch battles that we pulled back from the jaws of defeat, but we didn't. And I really do kick myself when that happens, but you know, it is what it is, and this is exactly how it happened. Ooh, yeah. Thank goodness for the handbrake turn. So, still 3 tanks down. Oh, 4 tanks down. We've got a lot of work to do, but the advantage of us being in the Vanguards, and of course also being top tier in the Vanguards, is we have the manoeuvrability, we have the view range, we have the camo factor, and I didn't really use that to maximum benefit. at the end of the game. But I carry binoculars as well as optics on my Vanguard, which gives me the option of being really active or hiding and being really passive, and I find that really works for me. So Carrie's gone over to do some spotting where the heavies have come down over the hill. I'm just continuing to keep this ridgeline lit up. Of course, what I'm really hoping for is red squares. Always pushing for red squares. There's one of them. One shot in. Oh, the kill was stolen from me. That's not fair. And the GW Panther. Oh, yeah, mind the dead tank, that's right. Oh, come on. Oh, I'm going to reload. That's just, yeah, it's just not going to happen. Right, well, the game has evened out quite nicely. Two heavies right bang in the centre on the rail tracks. One heavy threatening the base. Tank destroyer I've not picked up on. And actually not sure what their light tank is up to either. Why is their light tank not out there scouting us? Right, there's the fatherland. Picking up some nice assisted damage. Doing very little damage myself. I was literally just working the ridge line, keeping the enemy spotted. And doing damage in this tank doesn't bother me. I just quite enjoy bringing in the assisted too. I just like being a benefit and a good spotter for the team. Right, Carrie's coming back. One tank down. It is all to play for. But I'd like to think probably the enemy probably have the advantage at this stage, I would say. Tracked it. Come on, take the fatherland out. Yes! Oh, save face. I get a kill. There's the scout tank coming for me. Yeah, I've done an SOS because I do. Luckily, I'm on full health, but trouble is, so is that Vanguard. And this is going to end up being like a game of dodgems. Try not to bounce off each other, circling each other. I need to keep wriggling and keep moving, and hopefully Carrie's going to come. Oh, he's actually, I'm making it a little bit easy for that tank. Luckily, Carrie's coming in. It's all a game of auto aim. I'm on a reload. Just going to keep it on the move. And it sounds like we're all on a reload now. I'm just keeping well out of trouble. Oh, their Vanguards are one shot. It's on a tiny bit of health. Yes! Well done, Carrie. That's their scout tank taken out. Right. Light tank platoon. TD against a heavy and their TD. So I've not picked up on the video, but I obviously knew where the TD was. Or I thought I knew where it was, and it's going to be up on the top of the cliff. So we've got a heavily armoured Oho. One shot in the side. Now our TD is quite a way away. Whether he's doing that just to stay out of view range, don't know. He's just sort of playing it safe, being in the centre of the map. There's their TD at G0. T28, heavily armoured from the front. So what do? Carrie's sort of hanging around the cap. Possibly a little bit risky with that Japanese heavy there. But he's staying on the move. He's on a reload. Our TD is moving back towards the cap, so that's good, and moving back into cover. What do? So my plan was to go up and light up the TD. Trouble is, that TD, if it's still there, is going to be facing forwards, with all its armour facing forward. Carry's not going to be able to penetrate it. And maybe our TD won't either. So I'm not really sure what the plan is, but it goes a bit wrong because I go up there and I spot it and I've not kept it outside of my detection zone. And I see the Oho and I think I could just get a nice soft shot in. Doesn't work. Yeah, that was poor. Really, really poor. I could have stayed in the bushes. I could have stayed back and hopefully popped a drum's worth of ammunition into the side of that T28. So now it's down to Carry and the TD. It can still be done, and he's a good enough player to do it. I was stupid, just did not take advantage of my view range and camo value. Bad retro. Stupid thing to do. So Carry's going up, and the TD was on the move. So we've got a big, fat, heavily armoured Japanese heavy. We've got a heavily armoured tank destroyer. They both sit in the cap with their armour facing forward. It's going to make life very tricky for us. And he's creeping. See, this is what I should have done. See, he knows how to play. Should have been creeping through the bushes. I mean, admittedly, the TD was probably up there, binoculars on, camo net on as well, but I could have played it better. Bounces off the Oho. Bounces off the Oho. Gets a shot on the T28. This is looking good. Trouble is, yeah, see, I don't know why our TD went in so close. That was a bit of a shame. If the TD had stayed back, Carry could have kept them lit up and the TD could have got some pot shots in. But it didn't work that way. So on reflection, it probably wasn't all my fault, but I didn't help. So... oh, he gets a fire on the Oho, but it's not enough. Oh no, the Oho is a one-shot. The clock is ticking. 34 seconds. Trouble is, if the Oho is facing forwards, Carry's not going to get penetration. So he is either going to just roll up on the hill and try and pop a shot, or he's going to just go for it and try and circle them both. 12, 11, 10 seconds. Yeah, time is absolutely... yeah, he's just basically trying to reset the cap because otherwise he's going to lose anyway. And, oh, shot in. Time was the enemy. He absolutely had to go in and try and reset the cap. We could and should have won that game. But we didn't, and that's how it panned out. So how did we do overall? Well, obviously it was a defeat. Nothing amazing on my stats. But Carry came top, 3 tanks destroyed, 3,000 damage, and I came third overall. Either way, it was fun, but the win would have made it better. So Carry messaged me just before this game and said, Retro, this is the last one for the night. Carry goes to bed quite early. He has to tuck in his Filipino boyfriend and give him some warm milk, and then he goes to bed himself. So, last game, you know how it works. Last game has to be a win. Still in the Vanguards. It's a tier 10 game, and we're on Durpenberg, or Kampenberg is probably the better phrase for it, where all the tanks sit up on the ridge lines. I have absolutely no problem being in a Vanguard in tier 10. In fact, I enjoy it all the more because it is such an annoying little mosquito. It really is. So, Carry's going quite a risky line actually, but he knows what he's doing. He's going quite wide at C0. He's just going to spot over the ridge there. They have got 2 arty. We've only got the 1. And our whole team, apart from the medium in the middle, are up on that ridge line. And I'm saying to Carrie, mate, I'd fall back because that Cranvarn is well armoured with good gun depression, and it might just risk poking over to bosh a shot in. Even though our whole team may be looking that way, they could potentially bounce. And you never know. When people know who you are on the map, if they recognise you, sometimes they will YOLO any position just to take you out. And that could happen to Carrie, which is why I said fall back, mate, just in case. Now, I'm not quite where I thought I was. There's a nice little... Oh, I might be, maybe I am. I can't remember if it's here or a little bit further on, but there's normally a nice little garden and you can sit behind a bush. I have a feeling it might be further over. And, I'm spotted. Okay. So, I'm just trying to light up the enemy on their ridge line because it would seem that's where they all are as well. And our team... Well, what can you do? They're not pushing, and it would be silly for me or Carrie to do anything else but just kind of stay within the vicinity of our team and spot anything that comes in. So the enemy are bold, and they have crossed the river. We have not. Ooh, T57 heavy aim. Ah. What do you do? What do you do? So we've got a heavy and a medium by the cap, probably just camping in the bushes there. RT set nicely back. And our team are all just sat on the hill, and we are 3 tanks down. Absolutely no point in me and Carrie doing anything else. There's no point in pushing across the river. We will be outgunned and outnumbered. And oh, the shot comes into me tracks. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And oh, Carrie looks like on the mini-map he's in a bit of a sticky situation. Not quite sure what he's up to there, but he's... Oh, that was close. He's on the run. I want a shot in. Oh, I am definitely a target in this. So glad it's hard to hit. Right, T57 heavy. Can we just... Yeah, it's not worth taking that shot. Might take the cannon out, you never know. No, nothing happens. We are 7 tanks down. Half the team has been destroyed, and the enemy have not lost a single tank. So, Retro, is this the epic clutch game that you promise us as the last game of the night? So Carrie can go to bed and sleep well, and everyone's going to sleep well? Be a hell of a comeback, wouldn't it? And I tell you what, it ain't going to happen. The enemy are coming in strong. They're completely surrounding us. Just didn't get a chance to do anything. I mean, I brought in a little bit of assisted damage, but not a lot. Just a wonderful example of why camping as a team just doesn't work. Really, really doesn't. Both teams camp. Well, maybe, but still one team has got to make the push. And the enemy push. Look at them all coming in. Oh my god, there's so many reds. There's 15 of the buggers. And, well, Carrie's about to get pushed. I'm staying in the vicinity because I think, well, he's going to get pushed. I'm going to die, I know I am, so I might as well just try and help him out. Get some auto aims in the back chat. Oh, don't know where that shot went. And, yeah, Carrie's taken out, and I am the last tank standing. We were both the last tank standing, and it's... it's only a matter of time. Believe it or not, I got a message from Carrie after that saying, let's have another one. We'll have a look at the post-game stats. Well, myself and Carrie came top, but nobody's got anything to be proud of in that game. What a dreadful team. And Prokhorovka comes up again. Have I saved the best to last? Well, no. You know, these were the games that we had, and this was the actual last game. So, gonna spoil it for you. We won. Because that's why it was the last game. Because in between the last game and this game, there were a couple more losses, and it was like, let's have another game. Let's have another game. You know how it works, guys. You don't go to bed unless you get a win, and that's often when you go to bed really, really late, really, really annoyed because you just can't get the win. But Prokhorovka was coming up a lot, and of course, as some of us knew, and a lot of us didn't, and I'm one of them, I don't always keep my ear to the ground, that Wargaming were featuring special maps which were tank destroyer friendly, and also, of course, they were very light tank friendly. And I love Prokhorovka, but the map rotation was boring, and I don't really understand why there were so few maps in the map rotation. I've said before in videos, I quite like it if Wargaming sort of featured speciality maps as a feature, just to sort of give us some variety. But the idea was to bring Konas, the new map, heavily into rotation. I only saw it twice in 4 days. I've seen Konas more since this map rotation event had finished, and I was just getting back-to-back Prokhorovka, Fisherman's Bay, blah blah blah. And yeah, I now understand that it was sort of a special feature of map rotation, but if it was sort of tank destroyer friendly maps and maps good for light tanks, then, you know, why wasn't Kasserine in there? Why wasn't El Alamein in there? Why wasn't Malinovka in there? I just think there were too few maps, and if you're playing for a few days and you're playing for quite a few hours for a few days, rotation gets stale really quickly, and I don't really understand why Mines was featured in there so heavily. Is Mines a tank destroyer friendly map? Yeah, not sure about that one. Anyway, find ourselves back on Proc. Again, I do what I do, working the ridge line. Looks like Carrie went to his favourite spot again, because it is a really good spot up there. If you can get in those bushes undetected, then you are a really good spotting machine up there. It's a really good passive spot. So, 2 tanks ahead already. And I'm pushing just a little bit hard here. I feel like I've got a little bit of support with the heavies behind me. Don't shoot, Retro. Do not shoot. I know it's artillery, but if you shoot... Oh, you can't resist. And it bounced. No, see, now people know you're there. But Carrie's gone in, and it would seem that this flank is pretty much undefended. I'm going to reload. I'm not going to get RT, am I? And the light tank's coming in. Oh, here we go. Should cue the funny music here, really. This is going to end in tears, but I don't know whose tears it is. Carrie's going for RT. And well done. I'm nearly done on the reload, so I just need to do some very effective auto-aiming. Straight line. Straight. Wait for it to... That's it now. Nice. Wait again. Make good use of these shells. Nice. One more shot. Is it going to be 3 out of 3? Ooh. No. Just try to get a shot in, but that wasn't going to work. Anyway, their light tank taken out. I think we should safely say we're going to get this game, but you never know. Games can turn round. There's a pattern in the middle. I'm on a reload. And me and Carrie just staying on the move as you try in these tanks. Really, really hard to hit. Well, Carrie takes out the pattern. And their team were being quite campy, actually. So we were the team this time that surged forward, aggressively attacked, Their team pretty much left their west flank completely undefended. And all we got to do really is just stay alive, keep them spotted. I don't even know if I get any kills in this game. I mean, I spotted 2/3 of their team, which I'm really happy about. Every time I scout on big open maps like this, I'm always trying to get the 15 tank spot without YOLOing. And oh, you do not want to be in front of that. Right, just need to peer over. Do they know I'm here? RT's taken out. Auto aim on the Oods. Job done. Got a kill. Well, might as well just try and get an engine shot. One more shot would have done it. Carry goes in, steals the kill. I'm kidding. One pesky light tank. Off we go. The search is on. Carry's on a reload. I'm on a reload. And surprise, surprise, I quite possibly rely a little bit too much on auto aim on this. It doesn't matter. Wouldn't have been a game changer. But we get, there's the light tank at A6, A5. You know what it's doing? It's going straight in for Artie to try and get a kill. Just to finish the game on a kill, and it's always satisfying taking out a red square, even though it's a green square in this case. And what I should really do, I'm not a great shot anyway, but if I just stayed still, I could probably have aimed a shot and taken it out, but I was going to go in for the close tracking auto aim. But all good. It was a victory. Couple of thousand assisted damage, very little of my own damage really. And how did that game pan out overall? Obviously it was a victory, so it was going to be the last game of the night. And we came second and third, respectively. Well, I really enjoyed platooning up the silent platoon with Cosmic Carry. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Just want to say a shout out to Cosmic Carry and say hello. Hope you're doing well, mate. Hope you enjoyed the video. Keep safe, keep tanking, and I'll see you soon. I'm not so sure, Carry, that going to the centre to the Abbey is a good idea. This map's a little bit like Cliff when you try and capture the lighthouse. It can work really well, but it can also end in tears. But we'll do it. So far, so good. Actually, that's excellent because their scout tanks, their light tanks, have gone down to the west. So we are in the clear. Right, let's get some spotting in. Gonna reverse so I can just accelerate out of trouble. These trees in front can be quite good for camouflage. Binos on. Carrie's looking out over the cap, and yeah, look at your mini-map, Retro. Look at your mini-map. Look at your mini-map. There is a medium right in the Abbey with you. You still don't know, do you? Really? Mate, look at... Yeah, there! Oh my... Oh, this isn't going to end well, is it? Run, run, run. No, run through the gap, through the gap. Oh, no, 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 no. Thank you, that helped. Oh, God. How the hell did I get away with that? You see, that's why I like this tank, because I can get myself out of trouble.